What it is, Daniacs. I am here with Alex O'Connor and Phil. They are teaming up, debating Cliff and his son. And y'all can't see it, but you're going to be able to hear it. My damn technical situation is fucked up, and anytime I do reactions, it keeps cutting off on me every 2 to 3 minutes, and it really is starting to drive me fucking crazy. It's really driving me crazy. So y'all are just gonna have to listen to them because I fucking hate when I'm talking and that shit's clicking off on me constantly. So is what it is, but we got some good points here. Alex and Cliff, they're friends. I can't wait to debate Cliff's ass. I can't wait. So to chum the waters a little bit, I'm gonna hop on it up in this debate right here. And I am a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. All right. And it ain't none of the shit you've heard of, Zoroastrian or anything. I make up my own shit, yo. What's up? So let's roll with it. Take it away, Cliff.
You have not listened carefully to me. What I have said is God created free, autonomous individuals to live in harmony and love with him. When we rebel against him, there are consequences.
Okay, I don't believe in the rebellion. There is no rebellion. There is no rebellion. To say that there is a rebellion is to say that God is not all powerful. Okay, to say that there is a rebellion is to say that there is a path that God does not own. There is no path that the actual one true creator does not own. The actual one true creator owns every single name, every single word ever spoken. For there is no name or word ever spoken without the breath of life from the one true creator, who is not Yahweh, Jesus, or Allah. It is not any name. There is no singular name that you can put on the actual one true creator. Because as soon as you put a name on it, it then separates it from every other name in existence. And all names are his. And then this is another thing that Christians like to do is they like to blame it on free will. That they like to say our perception of the one true creator is a perfect creator. And he created humans, and he created free will, and he created knowledge. But now all of a sudden you put a couple of his creations together, and bada boom, bada bang, there's imperfect creations. What? Okay, so an imperfect creation can only come from an imperfect creator. If there is an imperfect creation, then there is an imperfect creator which created it.
Consequences that we never imagined. Adam and Eve never imagined. Lucifer never imagined. I never imagined.
Before that,
I rebel against God.
Before that, animals were
there are
suffering.
amazing consequences that happen, and God created a good world, and when created beings rebelled against him.
Oh, God created a good world, huh? Well, I mean, good is, that's a relative term, right? But all you got to do is look at nature, okay? Nature is cannibalistic. That is what God created. He created beings that devour each other. That is what God created.
And the consequences were horrific.
Do you know what redundancy is in design? Do you know what that phrase means?
No, I don't.
Okay, so redundancy means you plan for bad things happening. So one of my hobbies is skydiving. And if our main parachute doesn't work, guess what? We have a reserve parachute. I have a backup for my altimeter, an audible altimeter, in case that doesn't work.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
You build in redundancy into a system. My friend is a pilot. They have multiple backups in case things go wrong. Isn't it bad design for God to design?
Man, I know y'all can't see it, but Cliff is getting super uncomfortable at this point right here, which is a very good point. They want to talk about, our perception of the one true creator. Is a perfect creator, all this, that, and the other. But then check out this point that Phil's about to drop.
Well, that is so fragile that if a few creatures rebel, hundreds of millions, no, billions, probably trillions of animals are suffering. Isn't that bad design? Isn't that a lack of redundancy? No engineer would.
Especially when you consider that Christians say that their perception of the one true creator is all-knowing, all-loving, omnipresent. So what that means is that the creator knew his creations were going to rebel and created them anyway. And according to Cliff's narrative here, which I don't buy, but according to his narrative, because of that rebellion, all of the suffering exists. Okay, but okay, so if God is all knowing, God knew that they were going to rebel, and God knew that would result in the massive suffering of all existence. Yet he created it anyway. And not only that, he could have created it differently. All powerful, right? He could have created it differently, but he didn't.
Do that?
Also,
God
I
us to
beginning
love.
to,
In order to love, we have to have a free will. If we have no free will, love is impossible. And when God creates us,
See, this is where they try to circle back around to but free will. That's where evil came from. That's where sin came from. It's free will. But free will is a creation of the one true creator. So free will is a perfect creation, as are humans. So there is no possible way you can combine free will and humans, and now all of a sudden that there is sin and evil and imperfect creations.
the free will to love, he is obviously taking a limited risk. And the limited risk is that we will choose not to love, we will choose to hate and be apathetic. And there are horrible consequences to that. But the cross of Jesus Christ is a clear statement that God has provided the solution. God has provided the solution. Forgiveness, reconciliation with him, with each other.
Well, you have to create the problem first, and then you come along with the solution. Why did God need a solution? Why was there a problem to begin with? See, I don't believe in evil. I don't believe in sin. I don't have negative associations with bad things that happen. You know, life is cannibalistic. That is something that you learn. Life is cannibalistic. Life feeds on life. And that's the way life was designed, was to feed on life. Cannibalistically, painfully, horribly.
And eternal life. And you guys are looking a gift horse in the face when you reject Christ. He's the best solution.
Nah. Jesus is a desert war god of hypocrisy, just like Yahweh and Allah. Followers of Abraham are a blood cult of sin worshippers. No, you don't believe me? I said that to a Christian before, and he's like, what are you talking about? I don't worship sin. I don't know anyone that worships sin. Okay. I can prove you're a sin worshiper then. Check it out. There is no sin. Okay, I'll wait for it. Now you guys are going to be saying, oh, no, wait. No, there is sin. There has to be sin. There must be sin. And this is why I call you sin worshipers, because there must be sin. There can't not possibly be sin. Sin's everywhere. It's everywhere. See, that's what makes y'all sin worshipers.
There is to this horrible problem of animal suffering, human suffering, death of all of us. You're right. It's a real painful issue. Christ, death and resurrection is the most amazing solution to this problem. There's no better
is you say it, Cliff.
one. And I love that you.
There's no better solution, right? There is no better solution than God torturing his son, which is really him, to sacrifice him, which he really doesn't sacrifice anyway because he doesn't really die, because you kind of have to lose something in order to sacrifice something, and God didn't lose anything according to the narratives. So I can definitely think of better solutions. I can think of better solutions like not creating sin to begin with. And I know you Christians are going to say, oh, but God didn't create sin. God created free will and man created sin. constantly passing the buck. Followers of Abraham want all the glory of the one true creator with none of the responsibility to the creation.
Look,
Taking animals so seriously. It's almost like you're appealing to this type of outrage again, but your desire to look at animals like they have souls. I mean, what is this?
They do have a soul, buddy. Every living thing has a soul. Okay, so what is a soul? Okay, right? Your soul is your inseparable connection to the actual one true creator. Inseparable. The soul is inseparable. You cannot barter it. You cannot trade it. You cannot be parted from it in any way. Okay, and if the one true creator is a perfect creator, then it is impossible for his creations to be separate from him. It is impossible for his creations, any one of his creations, to therefore then produce imperfection. So everything within creation is perfect.
What is a self? Human beings have that. The reason why we were created in God's image, and that type of worldview spread throughout the entire world, and now all of a sudden slaves, kids, women, people of other ethnicities, all of a sudden had worth. That came from the biblical God, no other God, definitely not atheism or anything of the sort. So I love that you guys are talking about animals.
Come the fuck on, motherfucker. Okay. So, and that brings us to this point, which is Christians do not worship the God of Israel. No, they do not. Y'all like to pretend, like right now, he's saying, oh, there's only one God. Oh, if there's only one God, then that's the Jewish Yahweh. That is not the Christian Jesus. Because the Christian Jesus is not the Jewish Yahweh. Go ask Jews. They will tell you. Go ask a Jew. Hey, is Yahweh Jesus? See what they say. So, in effect, Christians created a divergent Yahweh and recreated it in the image that they want and called it Jesus. Okay? And then Christians like to go around saying, you can't create God in your own image. Why? You're the only ones allowed to do it? Oh, I can't, but you can?
I need to jump in here. I need to jump in here. Listen, we don't know.
Here in the U.S., as this last point, here in the U.S., 37% of people say that they would save the life of their dog before a stranger. Okay, that is pretty scary, and yet it's appealing to now.
PJ, I'd save you before a stranger, okay? I'm just letting you know, PJ, I would. Every day. Every time I would, okay? All right.
Okay, my animal has this incredible worth. Where is this worth coming from? If they're just chemicals, if they're just a form of different fur and bones, why do I care so much? You shouldn't care. From your...
See, he is misrepresenting the atheist perspective. Caring is a chemical. The emotion that you are calling care is a chemical. and so he's saying, how can you care when you're just chemicals? What the fuck are you talking about? Caring is a chemical, you fucktard.
Hang on, very quickly. Very quickly. I know Alex wants to jump in really quick. The idea that animals have moral worth goes back to Christianity. I'm sorry, have you not heard of Jainism? They have as a simple, one of the most basic principles.
And see, they are presupposing right now, and the atheists aren't pushing back on this at all, that they just glossed right over it. But right now, they are presupposing that all care comes from the Abrahamic theology. That it is impossible to have care without the Abrahamic perspective. How fucking arrogant.
No violence to living beings. Have you heard of Motzi? Have you heard of Motzi?
Not to mention all the animal murder, not just like casually participated in, but actively and vigorously and cheerfully participated in within the Bible. Not just demanded. The Bible demands you to kill animals. What the fuck are you guys even talking about? that care for animals comes from the Abrahamic perspective. The fuck you talking? What you care most about animals, y'all, is just so that you have them around to sacrifice them. Is what y'all need animals for mostly.
Just like Augustine you brought up earlier.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're not understanding the point. Hold on, I have to speak.
No, I realize that was a slight misrepresentation. More of the old school Judea stuff. Yeah, I realize that most followers of Abraham don't go around slaughtering animals for sacrifices. I realize that. Okay, chill the fuck out. But it's still in your fucking Bible. It's still in your holy books. And you guys don't disavow that. You guys don't disavow anything within your holy books. No, instead of disavowing, you just come up with mental gymnastics.
I have to speak. Otherwise, I don't want to just be a potted plant, as has been said.
Sorry about that. Okay, one
Of course.
pardon my interruption.
I'm sorry.
Okay, one moment. As I want to quickly mention, I was muted on Zoom, so Phil was not ignoring me. He just couldn't hear me. But I said just 60 seconds ago, without realizing I'm muted still, is I want to give Alex a chance to respond, and then Skyphil, and then Phil, and then we'll go into Q&A. So got about 2 minutes or so. Alex, the floor is all yours.
Look, man, this is getting kind of ludicrous. I mean, Phil just said a second ago, you said that the care about animals comes from Christianity. Phil said, have you heard of Jainism? You said, well, I don't believe in Jainism. Of course you don't believe in Jainism. What Phil is saying is not that Jainism is true. Phil is saying that Jainism already cared about animals outside of and before Christianity. That's what he's saying, undermining your claim that care for animals can only come from Christianity. Of course, you don't buy into Jainism, but it undermines the point that the care about animals can only come from Christianity because we have evidence of a world religion that believes in that cares about animals without and outside of Christianity. Second point, you might not know what redundancy is in planning, but it seems like you know what redundancy is in argumentation. Every single time that Phil has brought up the point of non-human animal suffering before the fall of man, I'm going to underline that. I'm going to quote it again. I'm going to put it in bold. Before the fall of man. The answer has been, there are consequences to human creatures who rebel against God. Fine. But before that occurred, before any human being had even set foot on the planet, there were billions of years of animals suffering. This cannot be explained with reference to some mysterious consequence for some rebellious, mythical human beings who apparently existed in some garden, or perhaps are a mythological representation of the first proper Homo sapiens who ever walked the planet. Billions of years before they even set foot on the planet, there was already suffering. You cannot say that suffering is a result of a consequence of human sin. That is what has been said every single time we put this question up, but we still have not had an answer to why animals, again, underline, bold, before the original sin of human beings was suffering and dying in their brutal manners. Thirdly, earlier, and this was a while ago, Cliff said to me that I was being intellectually dishonest. He said that I was acting intellectually dishonestly, or that he sort of didn't believe what I was saying, or something like that. I may be wrong. I may be incorrect. What I'm saying may be entirely stupid, but I cannot have it said that I'm not arguing honestly here. I'm telling you what I believe, and I'm telling you what I don't know. You said, and I will quote you as best I can. You said that claiming to have the answer to the biggest questions of the universe is the height of intellectual arrogance. You then told me that me saying I don't know the answer to the most fundamental, foundational question of human existence is an impossible option. And that when you didn't know an answer to a question, that was called basic humility. Well, I agree with you. You don't know. I don't know. There are many things that we do not know. It is not me who claims to have the ultimate answer to these questions. It is you and your worldview. I cannot have it said that agnosticism is not a response, or that I'm somehow evading the questions. Tell me that I'm wrong, fine. Tell me that I'm stupid, fine. Tell me that I'm not understanding your question. Maybe I'm answering the wrong question because I've misheard you. But to say that
Gotta love Alex, man. Alex is the shit.
I'm intentionally evading your question because of some kind of fault in my worldview is an attack on my character that I just can't let stand, because I strive and pride myself on my ability to honestly engage with the questions that people are answering and honestly tell them that I don't know when I don't know. But I really, really want to hear an answer to this question of why non-human animals were suffering. One more time, I'll underline it. Before any human being performed any kind of rebellious action that could have consequences on the planet.
I said so clearly I don't do this.
I want to get a chance to respond, Cliff, but that was my hope was that rather than going into another question, we go into the Q&A. I can give you a really quick chance to respond, Cliff, since the question was nonetheless asked. I do want to see, Phil, if you had any last points you wanted to make. I think that you earlier wanted to say something. I'm not sure you got to.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, Motzi was a Chinese philosopher who lived around 400 BC, and he defended a concept of universal love. So this idea that, the moral concern we have for others comes from Christianity, it is just false. It is wrong.
All right, so Stuart and I got to take a course in communication because we have miscommunicated. I'm sorry for that. Alex, my whole point has been
Maple.
there were created beings before Adam and Eve who rebelled against God. In the first couple of verses of Genesis, you realize there was chaos and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
Okay, I've been waiting for Cliff to make this point. Okay, so he's saying that all the suffering is because of the initial spiritual rebellion way before the physical human rebellion. Okay. Now that we're clear on that, Cliff, what you're saying, okay, let me tear that the fuck down. So God knew they were going to rebel. I'm just going to reiterate my point from earlier pretty much, but God knew that they were going to rebel. And so he can't be all knowing and all good and all powerful. 'Cause knowing that they would have rebelled, which would have caused this massive suffering all throughout existence, his perfect creation, right? Knowing they were going to rebel, since he has forethought and knows everything anyway, he could have made it differently. All powerful, right? Could have made it differently. Now, once again, I am a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. I believe in the construct of the one true creator. I got totally different ideas about it. But such as, for one, followers of Abraham like to project that the creator is something outside of and greater than you. I internalize that. I say the creator is within you. I say that we are all extensions of the omni-consciousness, that God is living through our lives. Light came from the darkness, okay? The motion came from the stillness. Everything came from the nothingness. And I'll get pushback from atheists on this. There is no such thing as nothingness. Oh, yeah? Tell that to the fucking atom, which is 99.99% empty. And everything that we see is made of atoms, right? So everything that we see is 99.99% empty. So everything we see is full of nothingness, actually. I know it's a bit of a paradoxical contradiction there. I know. But see, now, paradox and contradiction are interwoven into the fabric of creation. The still motion, the silent sound, the dark light. So I got to run off to work, y'all. I was just wanting to drop a few good points, get a good chat in here with Alex and Cliff. And y'all stay sexy, motherfuckers. I am the brightest night. I am the darkest light. And I am ascending, as are we all. Step into Dane's world. The dark light is upon you.